Yeah.
What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is... I don't build villages. There he goes. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon as well. His name is 3antozz. This is a best of 3 that was played this morning as of the 12th of the 11th, 2021. 11th of December, that is. Best of 3. Got 3antozz, we got Kimo, we got 3antozz. We got Painted Desert, we got a Poseidon mirror. That's exciting, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a Poseidon mirror. We'll see how it's going to turn out here in this game. 3antozz and Kimo both with the Poseidon. 3antozz has been playing very, very well of late. He's currently in the top 5, top 10, one of the two. Very, very strong Poseidon player. I haven't seen him play many other civilizations, but he's going in with his Poseidon now against Kimo. Going to do the best he can in this game to make things happen. Kimo's been playing a ton of games, which makes it very easy for me because I love watching Kimo play. He's always a very entertaining player. So we'll see what he's going to be able to come up with in this game with his Poseidon here. We've got 2 villages on wood over here. And we've got 2 villages on gold. We've got Kaluminatiog in the chat. I read this and I thought it was hilarious. And he says, who else's girlfriend got arrested today, boys? So, I mean, put that down in the chat or in the comment section if your girlfriend got arrested today, I guess. Even if they didn't, maybe say they did, because I don't know. Poseidon mirror on Painted Desert, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Black Lotus up here. Fantastic relic, must grab here for both players if they see that. And we've also got in the top of the map, the tusk of the iron boar. Can you believe that having the iron boar's tusk added to your hippocon allows those, or makes those hippocon have 10% more HP? You'd think that having the tusks of the iron boar at their disposal would mean that they would have a higher damage, not higher HP. So a little bit of craziness that I'm not sure I understand the title or the name of this relic, but it is what it is, and we know that it means plus 10% HP for our cavalry. Down on the bottom of the map here, 3antozz has started his hunting operation. Going to be trying to gather all of this hunt before Kimo can get any sort of aggression early. It's smart by 3antozz. It's safe by 3antozz. And he's going to get away with it too. As we are now seeing the Katoskopos walking through 3antozz's base. Going to possibly spot this, but by the time Theseus gets over here, 3antozz is going to be completely safe here. He's got his temple coming up. He's going to be going to the next age. And I wouldn't be surprised to see 3antozz go for this town center up here. It's close to this gold mine, relatively close to these gazelle here. And 3antozz will have a fantastic time there. We do have Kimo opting to get out an early Theseus here. Lots of villagers on food in the middle of his base here on that lured hunt. He's also moved forward onto the zebra over here. Short 3 food, unfortunately, as Kimo is going to drop that off, and he is going to be going through Hermes now as the Theseus is walking forward. Going to be looking to target down some of 3antozz's villagers here. I do not think that 3antozz went for an early Theseus at this stage. So no early Theseus for 3antozz. Is 6 villagers wood, 3 villagers gold. I think we're not seeing a fast second town center here for one of the first times ever from 3antozz. The question is, what is Kimo doing? Kimo's got 4 villagers on gold, 5 villagers on wood, and not much gold to boot. We've got hand axe coming in and pickaxe for Kimo. This is exciting. I love these Poseidon mirrors when they go this way. It's looking like Kimo is going for a classical fight, and 3antozz, on the other hand, he's not bought his hand axe and pickaxe, so he might still be going for a second town center, but it will be delayed, and we'll see how it's going. We've got 3antozz moving forward, chucking up his granary here, going to be looking to get some stables down on this location. Here he goes, double stable. Hermes pops now for Kimo. Kimo going for double stable. both of these players are going to be fighting in this game with Hippocon against each other, building one screen length away from each other. However, Kimo's stable is going up much slower than 3antozz. So 3antozz is going to have the advantage here. He's also got the Tusk of the Iron Boar, so he's going to be living the dream over here. Meanwhile, Kimo's Centaur getting shanked away there by 3antozz. 3antozz has now got out Hippolyta, now got out Theseus. These villagers here might want to consider retreating away from this location for the time being. It's looking like the villager, very low HP, gets shanked there by the Theseus. Going to be chasing this one down. They do move at 3.8 speed, so the Theseus will be able to catch up, but Kimo does manage to pull his Hippocon out of here. Meanwhile, we've got the Theseus chasing away 3antozz's Centaur up here. The Hippocon going after the Theseus. And the Centaur is coming in, going to do a little bit of damage over onto this location. You can see the Hippocon HP difference is 165 to 150. And Kimo loses that low HP villager there anyways to the Rhino. Going to be continuing to take this fight here, but the Centaur gets sniped down. We have 4 Hippocon to 4 Hippocon as this Hippocon has retreated, stays alive. As we're going to continue this fight, we do see the Hippolyta into the action here as Kimo trying his darndest to take down the enemy. Theseus does manage to do so. The Theseus returning back into this fight right now as it's looking like 3antozz has got the slight advantage here, trying to retreat away Kimo, but he's going to decide to cast Ceasefire instead. And now he's drawn up a third stable as Kimo's realizing he's got a little bit too much gold income, needs to get that food income sorted, get these units out with the third stable here coming up for 3antozz as well. He's going to be copying him exactly the same here. He's gone up with 10 villagers on the gold mine now before starting to rotate over onto the Rhinoceros. And this is going to allow 3antozz to be pumping out of all 3 of these stables very shortly, not getting housed once thus far in the game, and he's doing a very good time here. And we'll see how this is all going to go. More Hippocon popping out here for 3antozz. Going to look to try and put some pressure onto Kimo as soon as this ceasefire is over. We've got 7 Hippocon out to 10 Hippocon. So a 3 Hippocon advantage. 3antozz at 62 pop. Kimo at 53. So nearly a full 10 population in front thus far. The Hippocon's going after each of these Rhinoceros, both in turn here, deciding to do exactly the same thing. But it's looking like Kimo might actually have to use his villagers here if he wants to take this fight. He is deciding to move forward and back here. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, Mr. Focused the Beast. Giving that one over to Mr. Illuminatiog. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. As these villagers dumping off their food into the granary, as Kimo still moving back and forth, trying to make it all work out for him right now, as the Hippocon are still thwacking each other. Remember, 3antozz has got the advantage in here by 10% HP. That's quite a bit here. The villagers are taking off the Rhinoceros right now, going to be attempting to add to the DPS of these units, only losing 1 villager thus far, and it's looking like Kimo is potentially going to be okay here in this game. Nice micro from 3antozz, pulling 5 units back over on that location, but villagers still fighting in this location very nicely, but lots of dead villagers thus far, and it's looking as if 3antozz is still able to push through here. Kimo not able to hold on, and Kimo is probably going to have to start thinking about retreating away from here. More dead villagers here, as we are seeing that maybe Kimo is consistently getting closer and closer to going even in this fight, but he's lost so many villagers. Nice micro here from Kimo, but does end up losing that Hippocon anyways. And now we've got 3 Hippocon to 3 Hippocon. It looks like Kimo has managed to nullify 3antozz's numbers advantage thus far, but at what cost losing all of those villagers? We do still have the multiple heroes out for Kimo versus not multiple heroes out for 3antozz, just the Hippolyta. So a slight advantage there as well for Kimo, as he's going to keep trying to push forward. He has to remember that he is at a slight disadvantage now. So essentially he needs 10% more Hippocon than his opponent if he's going to be able to win in these fights right now. And now we're going to see a 4th stable coming down for 3antozz. 1, 2, 3 stables currently spamming out these Hippocon, and 3antozz wants the 4th one. As we're seeing nantozz push back in. Still no micro here from Kimo. Still trying to fight this one to the best of his ability here. And he is managing to do so. We see the villagers pulled off the line yet again here. Going after the Hippolyta right now. Going to try and snipe her down. And it is looking like nantozz going to decide to retreat away as the villagers pull back. Lots of low HP Hippocon in both armies thus far. We're not really seeing much else other than a fight on one front here. As maybe you could snipe down that Hippolyta. 4 HP remaining on that one. So we'll see how that's all going to go in the near future. As Kimo is somehow, some way still alive here. nantozz 69 population, Kimo 74 population. Kimo with the advantage thus far. We are seeing nantozz now moving up to the top side of the map. Going to be grabbing these Zebra up here, doing what he can to continue in this game. As now Kimo's finishing up with his hunt over here. Going to move back onto his Gazelle down this location. And he's now no longer needing to take this fight so seriously. Let's check the economic upgrades now for nantozz. He does have pickaxe, no hand axe. Kimo does have hand axe and pickaxe and husbandry right now. He's eating those herdables very nice and fast right now. As nantozz juking around, trying to find somewhere to go with his Hippocon. If he can find these villagers, hit those, he's going to feel very, very good about himself. He can sack like 1 or 2 Hippocon into these Hippocon and snipe the villagers down very, very quickly here if that's what he's going to decide to do. I mean, other than that, he can just try and take the villagers, and we are seeing some nice micro here from Kimo pulling his villagers off of the Gazelle here, trying to take down one villager. He has managed to snipe one, but he's going to be losing a couple of these Hippocon here as we see the Hippocon retreating away from this location. Kimo now moving over onto this gold mine. There is a potential here for nantozz to be thinking about going to the heroic age. He's got a lot of food in the bank here, not so much gold, and he does have those 4 stables to produce, but still no medium cavalry just yet. The Hippocon just going to be running around trying to find something to attack of Kimo's here. Doing a fantastic job thus far is what Kimo's defense is currently doing, and we are seeing up at the top side of the map here, Kimo is getting himself some Gazelle here. So this could be a very, very difficult situation for him to be in. We are seeing nantozz now deciding that he can take this fight over on this location. 7 Hippocon versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Hippocon. So it's still very, very close. Meanwhile, these Hippocon going to be leaving this location because Kimo is predicting that nantozz goes over to here, but not happening. Is now nantozz has made some gap between the Hippocon. He's going to be able to start a fight over here, potentially get a surround on the enemy Hippocon while the other Hippocon aren't quite here, but it is looking like Kimo's going to be able to get over here and defend for the time being. As nantozz pushing in how many Hippocon? 17 to Kimo, who has got 20. So Kimo has the advantage here. 103 to 100 of 105. 108 of 115. Still very, very close. But we've got the medium Hippocon coming through. That's going to be a big, big advantage in this fight. And Kimo does decide he needs to retreat away here. Do we see anything coming through? No, we do not. Not having the gold just yet. And we will be seeing nantozz attempting to hit some sort of a timing here. The villagers getting pulled off of the gold mine here. Going to be jumping into this fight, trying to take down nantozz's army here. It's a very, very nice attempt from nantozz, but it's looking like Kimo just has too much number here in terms of his Hippocon count with the assistance of those villagers, managing to push nantozz back even with the Tusk of the Iron Boar and medium Hippocon. Kimo somehow manages to make that happen here. Do we have Shaft Mine on the way for Kimo? No, normally we would see him grabbing that in this situation, but he's not yet thought to grab that one just yet. And nantozz, well, nantozz has actually managed to kind of win this fight in the end. It's still very close. Look at all those dead bodies. You don't see this in many games. This is just like the battlefield just left over with bones of cavalry units just all laid to rest here. Immediately turned to bones. That's exactly what happens. And now Kimo's pushed back. Kimo has moved over onto this gold mine now. These villagers can easily just walk into his base, start jumping onto those farms. These villagers retreating away from the wood line here. We are seeing some more Hippocon falling over here as Kimo still trying to continue in this game. Nice snipe over here from nantozz, able to take 2 Hippocon down for the price of 1. Very nice play thus far. And we'll see what ntozz's reaction to this is all going to be. We do have to actually start seeing the farm transition coming in. No more food left on the map. And ntozz are maybe a little bit short to go to the next age. Even if he cancelled 1, 2, 3 Hippocon, it's only going to be about 100 resources there. So can't get to the next age just off of that. So yeah, we'll have to start farming because we're starting to see ntozzz moving over here, chopping down these palm trees, making everything happen. Now moving up to this top location, we do see Kimo's trained another centaur here for one reason or another. He's made another stable over on this location. Kimo's 74 population, getting himself a medium cavalry here. And he's still trying to, ntozzz is still trying to build all the Hippocon he can. Kimo as well doing the same thing. And at this point, Kimo is just trying to bide his time, wait for that medium cavalry to pop. It will pop here as it happens just as these units turn into fight here. ntozzz has got himself Copper Mail and Spirited Charge though, whereas Kimo's got medium cav and Spirited Charge himself, so he's got the same upgrades. He's just behind on the Copper Mail thus far, so that's going to be a big help for ntozzz, especially because he's got that extra HP in Tusk of the Iron Boar. So that extra hack armor is going to help out a ton. So we'll see how this is going to go. We've seen Kimo out with another centaur here. He's built 2 centaurs, as those are going to get picked off very easily by the Hippolyta. Now we see the Hippocon moving over by ntozzz onto Kimo's gold mine. And one hyena has fallen. Kimo going to be retreating away. Still not full population. But ntozzz has to kind of respect this. He has to follow this. He can't keep turning around and going after the villagers, because that's kind of exactly what Kimo wants. So instead, going after the units, keeping Kimo in the dirt here. Got 17 villagers on food here. No plow just yet. And there it is coming through though. ntozz's farms are starting to look good, except he's been playing maybe too much Atlantean here. He's got a beautiful granary here, You do want to put the effort into placing these farms well. One thing I'll say is you'll notice if you put like a couple of seconds into each farm, that will give you a ton more food than you're used to seeing if you're just spamming them around. Or at the very least, chuck a granary down here, and fix them up as you go. And Kimo still trying to hold on in this game as ntozzz is creeping ahead. He's still got that 18% hack armor advantage here, as he's going to be able to continue to fight in on this location with a very clear advantage. But Kimo yet again pulling villagers off of the gold mine. And ntozzz is this now he's starting to learn. Maybe it's easier to just turn back. We do see the armory up now for Kimo. He cannot afford to get himself copper mail here. ntozzz, on the other hand, might be considering getting himself copper weapons, and he has actually got that at 13 damage already with the 18%. He's got such a big advantage here in terms of his damage output and tankiness of his Hippocon. And also, no Black Lotus getting picked up here by Kimo, making a big mistake there. He could really use that food here in this game for sure. And maybe he'll think about grabbing it a little bit later here, as Kimo's nearly full population. ntozzz is at 93 population, pulling back here, doing what he can, as we do see these Hippolyta Theseus here pulling back away from here, and we see the Hippocon of ntozzz still retreating away, as looking like Kimo is able to start going into more of a multi-raid situation here, and ntozzz needs to figure out where he needs to go now. He's getting himself a second town center, potential third town center option here as well. Black Lotus does come through for Kimo, as Kimo's going to be pushing in. We see these Hippocon fighting against each other, but I think Kimo's maybe got the DPS advantage here. He should be able to kill off this other Hippocon in time, even with the armory advantage here, though it's going to be very close, and we'll see who's going to win that fight there, but it doesn't really matter. We are still pushing in, taking down all of these units very nicely, and it does look like Kimo's Hippocon wins with 48 HP there. The town center is now coming up for Kimo. He's going to be chasing ntozz's town center timing. Do we see a next age? Not just yet. We do see that granary up here. It's a question mark because he built this one manually, which only really helps these farms. These farms here are all in, well, this one's okay because it's close to the granary here, but definitely these farms here are all really, really bad. So a granary here would help. This farm here should probably just be up the top. Just little things here about your farming situation could really, really help your food situation. You can see the difference here for Kimo. He's got maybe 1, 2, 3 bad farms, and we do see Kimo getting to the heroic age first, casting that curse down. Going to have a ton of pigs to play with here, getting out his town center, throwing down a bunch of farms over here. Kimo might be considering going to the mythic age very, very shortly. nilla, on the other hand, still trying to figure out how he can get to the heroic age. Not going to be able to get there. Well, he's going to be able to get there in about a minute now. He's got his 3rd town center up. He's got a lot of food income, 26 villages on food. I think you should go up to about 30 on farms if you are farming. So he's pretty close to that, so no problems. We are starting to see some of those prodromus, and Aphrodite is on its way now. No! We've got 3antozz deciding to go through Dionysus here. So we'll see how that's all going to go. 3antozz pulling away from here. Going through Dionysus, we don't see Dionysus in this matchup very much because that means that you don't have access to Divine Blood. Also, no access to the Nemean Lions is a bit of an issue as well. But there is no ceasefire here for Kimo. So the bronze is going to come down, not going to be able to get ceasefired. So there could be some kind of cool thing that could happen here for 3antozz as the Hippocon are retreating away. We see the wall getting broken down over here. Kimo going to be looking to push in and maybe take down the town center in the back. We've got villagers moving over here for 3antozz onto wood. I'm not sure if he's going after more farms here or what his plan is thus far. We do see the Nemean Lion going to be chilling onto this location. We've almost got that heroic age coming in. Kimo opting to get his 3rd town center now. Still not going through to the mythic age. He's got his market up. He's got himself heavy cavalry, not just yet. Trying to push through this gate over here, and we'll see if he's going to be able to get any real big damage done over onto this location. The Nemean Lion preventing the gold mine from getting grabbed. The Theseus does come out. Dionysus does hit this one, but we've got the raids coming in by 3antozz, pushing Kimo off the gold mine here. Very nice play by 3antozz. He's going to be very, very happy with that one. Getting a couple of villager kills. 1, 2, 3, 4 villager kills with that raid. Meanwhile, Kimo's doing the exact same thing in reverse to 3antozz. He's taking down 5 villagers though. So that's going to be a very, very nice time for Kimo here, and we'll see, will 3antozz get away? Yes, he does get out of that wall. Going to be looking to continue harassing these villagers. There are a lot of villagers here that are not protected by 3antozz, and Kimo is finding the vast majority of them thus far, as we see heavy Hippocon has come in for 3antozz. Look at those upgrades here. There's no way we're going to be seeing 3antozz go through Hephaestus here. He's already got full copper, so doesn't really have to get that Forge of Olympus to do too much here. We do see that 3rd town center is now up for Kimo. The walls starting to set up as well, as we do see bronze coming in here by 3antozz, and Kimo, simply put, will just retreat away. No problems here, but the wall has come up here for 3antozz, so he's going to be trying to block Kimo in. Very, very nice play here from 3antozz, trying to get this wall up as well, as Kimo is going to be running around doing his stuff here, but he's looking to keep some of these units alive. He can sneak out this way. Potentially here, yes, he can get all the way over here. We do have Kimo throwing up this wall on that location there. This villager coming down to the bottom here to throw up a wall here as well, as these cavalry still haven't found a way out of 3antozz's base. Meanwhile, we've got some Prodromus over here attacking this. Is Kimo going to the mythic age? No, he's not. He has started his trade, but one idle camel or donkey caravan here, being a little bit of a nuisance. And we'll see if Kimo can get any kills here. He's getting a couple, but the bronze too strong, as 3antozz manages to clean that up nicely. Is 3antozz going to the mythic age? Yes, he is. Artemis on the way. Going to be absolutely huge here. We see Kimo now sneaking through onto this location, potentially going to be looking to take down the villagers over here. And the cavalry upgrades for both players. Let's look at the army upgrades. It's still the same here for 3antozz. Full bronze. And Kimo's got himself copper mail right now, or bronze mail, I should say. As he is going to be still... Well, actually, no, that's 3antozz that has bronze mail. Kimo transitioning into hoplites now. As he's getting himself divine blood. And he's still kind of stuck in the heroic age, not getting to the mythic age just yet. Some more barracks coming up. There's 3antozz's mythic age popping here. We'll see where he wants to use it. You have to be careful where you use it as against Poseidon, because you don't want to give him too many militia here. But Kimo is literally, look at this. Is Kimo playing deathmatch or what? He's got himself 10 military academies. He's got himself 5 archery ranges. He's building more military academies. The Hippocon coming in onto this location, going to be looking to hit that earthquake here soon. We do see a cheeky raid on this location. The Prodromus are getting taken out. So you see the Hippolyta getting destroyed over here. More archery ranges coming down. And there is the earthquake. But I'm going to tell you, I think Kimo's happy with this trade. He's just got himself 16 militia. And militia, we've talked about this. They're basically 90% of a hoplite. So let's just use the, well, it's 90%. So let's just say they're 80 resources. 16 times 80, I can't do that math. But 10 times 80 is 800. 1200 is 15. So I guess 1280 would be how many resources Kimo just got there. And he lost 700 from this settlement here going down. So Kimo absolutely living the dream. We do have champion Hippocon out now for 3antozz as he's piling the pressure on. But these militia doing absolute work. The Chimera can come in and clean these up very, very fast. And there's heavy infantry as well. Going to help out those militia even more. But the Chimera walking in here, trying to get some damage done. The Hippolyta repelling that one there. Town center on the way. We'll probably get up here for Kimo. The Toxotes doing a lot of damage to those hoplites so far. So Chimera sitting in the back, just waiting to get his special ability back. Every 20 seconds, that one does come back in here. We're starting to see 3antozz move in onto this location. Kimo gets his town center up, and now Kimo is in a very difficult position here. Still spamming out those hoplites, but very difficult position because he's not going to be able to get to the Mythic Age anytime soon. He's spamming his trade route out. We don't see that happening just yet. Yes, we do. 3antozz has got his trade route happening. Let's check the economic upgrades here. 3antozz has got himself bowsaw, irrigation, and shaft mine here. As the hoplites, militia doing their thing on this location here, taking all of these units down. More Toxotes popping out here for Kimo. Going to be getting some good damage done as more Hippocon are flooding in to this area now. Kimo's 113 of 160 pop. 3antozz is 160 of 160 pop. Throwing a forward fortress down for 3antozz here. He's very, very strong, as he's going to start being able to build Heliopoli out of that to target down the town center and keep pushing forward. We do see a random stray Chimera over here with 22 HP remaining, picking off another villager before going down to the hoplites. Very nice play here. As Kimo can probably, 3antozz can probably continue to send Chimera here. Sorry, excuse me. The yawns. Kimo can probably send a Chimera here if he so chooses. So now we're seeing those Toxotes going after the heavy hoplites, doing all of the big damages. He's trying to push forward. So we see the hoplites going down, the Hippolyta going down. 3antozz with a big advantage here, but Kimo, he's smart. He's starting to garrison his hoplites in his military academy, and we'll see how he's going to go here. Now up on this location, the Hippocon pushing through, trying to take down these villages as best as they can. As this town center is not long for this world. Do we have that? Do we have that? We got a Polyphemus coming out. I like the Polyphemus first, actually. Polyphemus is such a big unit to have in this game. So we'll see if that's going to come through anytime soon. We see all the hoplites getting pulled out here. Meanwhile, the Toxotes going after those high food donkey caravans, trying to pick off as many of those as he possibly can. Meanwhile, the hoplites doing absolute work on this location here, as Kimo's gold income is currently non-existent. For some reason, he's getting himself tax collectors, maybe to sell some resources to keep himself afloat here. So a lot of resources to invest in it, though. It really doesn't help out that much. And there's the Polyphemus coming out for 3antozz, as he's going to be walking up to the town center and start swinging his club here. There's not really any other location for Kimo to be training anything from. The champion Hippocon don't dive fast to villages at all. As you can see, the 3 champion Hippocon with the upgrades that 3antozz has got, nearly full iron here. Full iron. He's got iron weapons, iron mail. He's basically able to take down all of those villages here in this game. We see the Polyphemus swinging his club. There's 4 hoplites taking this Polyphemus down, but it's still taking a very, very long time to kill it. And in fact, I feel like the town center is probably going to fall before the Polyphemus does. Yes, it does. Nice play from 3antozz. 3antozz is now getting a fortress up on this location. He can move forward, town center this if he so chooses, and ceasefire, because he still has that ceasefire from ages ago. And we'll see if 3antozz can push in and get this town center anytime soon. More units flooding in for 3antozz, trying to take down the hoplites and everything else. And Kimo, in the 28th minute here, does decide to tap out. GG, well played by 3antozz. Very nice play just from the get-go. The pressure was able to be mounted because of the relic. Brain not working. Come on. Tusk of the Iron Boar. Because of the Tusk of the Iron Boar relic and the fact that 3antozz didn't get those early upgrades, he was able to overpower Kimo at the start there, just by sheer numbers. Kimo did manage to make it back, but it was a very smart play by 3antozz to invest in early copper mail as well as medium cavalry and the spirited charge, and he managed to just slightly, ever so slightly, overpower Kimo for the entire game and put him to rest in this one. 3antozz gets the first game. I did mention this is a best of 3, so we'll see who takes the next game, and if we do have a third one. If you guys are enjoying these games, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.